All right, welcome back to Mile High Hoops. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to rank all 30 of the NBA teams and kind of place them in categories based off of if I believe that they're going to be like a true championship contender or a team in A that's going to be like they could definitely win it, but like some things have to go right. And then B is kind of that team that's kind of working towards being like this actual contender, but they've got like a good setup for it, or like the leftovers of a team that was up there. C is going to be more of a building team, and then D is like full rebuild. So with that being said, like, subscribe, or dislike, and leave me a comment down below on what you'd like to see in the next one, or what you might agree with or disagree with. But let's start with the Philadelphia 76ers. I think they're a contender, but not a favorite. And I think that a lot has to do with the health around Joel Embiid specifically, and James Harden with the hamstring issues as of late. I think that if everything goes right, they very well could be an S tier team, but that's where they'll be. Washington Wizards, I think they're kind of a B or C tier. I think I'm going to put them in C. They just they've got a lot of younger guys, and then Bradley Beal's extension. I think that they do have a good core of guys of like Brad Beal, Kuzma, and then Porzingis. It's just a matter of if all those guys are healthy, all their other like fringe guys are also healthy. I think Rui Hachimura is actually taking a big step this year, and he's going to be a lot better for them. So they very well could make me eat my words, and they could be up here in B. The Hawks, put them in B. I think we saw their true colors these last few seasons, and that they're more of a pretender at this point than a contender. And I think for them, they kind of need to decide on kind of some of these guys. They've been toying with the idea of trading John Collins for a long time. There's also just rumors recently of Clint Capella being out. And so I think they really need to just kind of find their guys that they want to ride with and just go from there. Cleveland, I think they're a B as well. They're definitely very close to A, and I think they look really good this year. They could be an S tier team before too long, but adding Donovan Mitchell without having to get rid of really a whole lot other than like draft picks, I think puts them in a good spot. For this next year, they're going to be high up in the standings, but not super high. They're going to be up here probably within the next 2 years, and maybe up here, like I said. Detroit, they are full on rebuild. I like some of the new pieces they've got around Cade. Jaden Ivey's going to be really good for them, I think, and I think he fits well there. Sadiq Bey is showing more and more each season, so I think that they will be they're in a good position to be higher up within the next few seasons. Indiana, on the other hand, I think they're just downright bad. They need to trade Miles Turner. I don't know why the guy hasn't asked for a trade after being in trade rumors every single season since he's been drafted. But I do like Duarte. And some of the other moves, I can't remember their rookie this season, but I remember he did have a pretty good summer league game or preseason game. He could be something for them. They just need to move off of guys. Milwaukee now, I think, is a true contender. We all know how good Giannis is, and the rest of that team around him. Their defense is just going to be incredible. They're going to shoot threes really well, and they push the pace, and they don't have any issues rebounding. They've kind of got it all. Toronto, I'm going to put up an A. I think they get the right amount of coaching and the right type of coaching. Their coaching is always on point. After timeout plays, sideline out of bounds are all amazing. And then they play like really well connected defense all the time. And you'd never really look at the Raptors and think like, oh, they've got a lot of like guys who are clamps, but somehow like they all play together really well and they have a good defense. So they make it work with what they've got. And I think they've got a lot of guys that are going to get better, like OG and Scotty Barnes especially. I think Scotty's going to be a monster for them. Dallas, I'm going to also put in the A tier. Yeah. I think with Christian Wood there and Luka, I mean, they're going to be really good. Luka in general just steals the hearts and souls out of so many people. I think that they are just a team that is going to be constantly up here just because of how good Luka is and some of these other guys that are around him that are keeping up the same level of productivity that is needed to be a good team. And I think they've just got a recipe to be a really good team, but they need more to be able to be up here. Denver, they've got Jamal Murray and MPJ back, and those two guys are massive for them. I mean, their scoring outputs alone will just be a big boon for the team, aside from all the other things that they do. They're almost in a situation with Luka, with having Jokic, with how good Jokic is, that he can just carry a team into the playoffs, and I mean that's what he did last season. So they're gonna be good. I don't know if they're real contenders. If Michael Porter would have never tore his ACL, or not Michael Porter, Jamal Murray, and then if Michael Porter wouldn't have had back injuries, I think they would have been built up enough to be up here by now. But that's besides the point. Memphis, I think they're a true contender. As a Warriors fan, this is the team that freaks me out the most as a team to run into. I mean, they just have kind of everything. They've got a lot of switchy, lengthy defenders. They defend so well on the perimeter and at the rim, and then they have fast enough athletes on pretty much every position other than Steven Adams that can run the floor and finish with authority. Steven Adams, though, like as a rebounder, he's going to catch it, and he makes absolute dime passes up the court too. So I think they're going to be scary good. If they trade Dylan Brooks for someone better too, I would be even more terrified. Minnesota, I'm going to put an A. Even though I did the preview on Minnesota, I don't know exactly where I still stand with this team. Like, I want to see them play in like a real game before like I make any real concrete like theory about them. But Anthony Edwards alone is going to be just super, super good for them. And I mean, he's going to just continue to get better. Defense is pretty much the thing that I think about that he needs to get better at. As well as Cat. Cat really needs to step it up defensively. I think getting Gobert is kind of just throwing in the towel on Cat defensively, and it's like, well, he's not going to get any better, you know. But the rest of the guys around them are all pretty good, D'Lo especially. But yeah, they'll be up there in this pack of really good teams. Spurs, complete rebuild. They traded everybody and anything and everything for a draft pick. The washing machine might be out next for a bag of chips or whatever however that goes. Utah, same boat. They're going to be bad. Sexton's going to put up a lot of points for them, and Lauri Markkanen might shoot the ball like 6 more times than he ever has in his career, but they're still going to lose a lot of games. The Clippers, this is a tough one. I want to put them up here, but I think they're going to be here. I don't want to like go off of what could happen, you know, like injuries and stuff too much, but like Kawhi and Paul George have been a little frail over the last few seasons, and it's really up to those two guys to be really healthy for them to be up here. Phoenix, I think they're on the downward decline spiral. The whole Ayton situation, not talking to his coach, that's pretty shady. Chris Paul's getting older. I think that both the times they've made deep playoff runs, they've kind of shown that they were not quite good enough to be there, actually. Portland, I think I'd put Portland right there. They're not quite there yet, but, I mean, they're pretty good. I don't think that they really beat any of these teams in a 7-game series, and it's up to Dame being Dame again for them to be a playoff team in any caliber. Sacramento, I think they're another pretender. Keegan Murray's actually looking really good for them. De'Aaron Fox needs to become a better shooter. And they've got a deep roster, though, other than that. Like, they've got a lot of, like, pretty good players that can be on the court, but not a true star or leader. New York, I think I want to put them down here, too. I think I put them on the same tier as these guys. RJ's actually looking quite a bit better as well. But as long as they've got Julius Randle and not the really good version of Julius Randle that they had like 2 seasons ago, they're just not going to be good enough to do anything. Not a lot to be said about them. New Orleans. Now, I think New Orleans is another team that could be up here very shortly, depending on what version of Zion we get. I mean, preseason he looked healthy and fit, and it's just a matter of if he stays healthy. And again, I don't want to use that too much, but they have pretty much almost it all. Charlotte, they're either here or here. I think they're going to go there, though. After Miles Bridges, I believe, not Mikhail. Yeah, Miles Bridges decided to beat his girlfriend or whatever that situation was and go to prison. I don't even know if he's a free man right now. Hopefully not, if that was a legit case. But they're going to go there without him. It's LaMelo Ball and Terry Rozier with a bunch of bums trying to make things work. I mean, their role players are okay, but not this category worthy. Houston, they're building. A lot of good young guys, a lot of picks. Not a lot to be said. They're not going to be exciting this year. I mean, maybe a couple games to see how the rookies are doing. But as far as league pass goes, I wouldn't waste my time. Houston, or not Houston, wow. Miami, they're going to be another contender, but not true contender. They've just got a lot of good guys, a lot of depth, and they've got pretty much it all as well. Chicago, I think they are pretenders. I got to speed this up a little bit. But I think that they're just not going to be good again or good enough after they got Vooch for Wendell Carter. They're just not anywhere near as good as they should have been. And he has to be a better defender as well as Zach LaVine and some of those other guys. And also Lonzo needs to be healthy. Brooklyn, I'm going to put them there. I think a lot of people are underrating Brooklyn because of all of the noise that was coming out of their roster, but they're still going to be way up here. Like, I'm going to rate them off of what they are, not what they could possibly be. I think defense is going to be an issue. They need to make Ben Simmons fit, and they need to make it all work out, and they need to all buy in. And I think that's a lot to ask, but where it stands, like, as long as their three main guys are playing and they've got two other people on the court, they're going to be better than all of these teams, at least, and probably some of these ones as well. OKC, they're building. Chet has a Liz Frank injury in his foot, so they're just kind of hosed. Not too much to worry about there. Golden State, I'm going to be a homer a little bit here, but I think they're in S tier again. They just have all the right pieces. As long as Draymond isn't knocking people out at practice, they should be good. Again, yeah, they're just building all the pieces that left. They pretty much got replaced with the same, if not better, players. I'm going to put Boston up here again. Even though Gallo got hurt, I mean, he wasn't on the team last year, but they've got Brogdon. And I think they're poised to do it again. I feel like if I was Jaylen Brown, I'd be a little upset by the amount of trade rumors that was about me this last season, especially the off season. After he outperformed Jason Tatum a lot of the time, but I think they're going to be good as long as they don't have issues. LA, I'm going to put LA here. Again, I don't know actually if I think that they would beat the Wizards in a 7-game series or maybe the Knicks. I mean, that might be a hot take, but with the amount of injury-prone old guys on this team, I don't have a lot of faith in them. But I mean, if everyone's healthy, I mean, I don't want to put that into account too much, the injuries, but if everyone's healthy, they should be better than all these teams. And maybe a couple of these ones, it's tough. I mean, when you've got LeBron, though, you're going to be a really good team. And so maybe they could be up here at some point, but I have no faith with LeBron and Anthony Davis being healthy at this point, and also Russ not being a complete train wreck. Orlando, I think they're up here. They're still a rebuilding team, but the guys they have are good enough to propel them up here. Franz is insane. I think Paulo Banchero is going to be a stud for them as well. And then I do like just some of these other moves that they've done, like getting Wendell Carter. They've tried to build Bamba up enough. They have Bol. I really, really want Bol to be like a real rotation guy for them. I don't know if he's good enough to be, but they're exciting. But anyways, yeah, this is my tier list. I think this is pretty much championship contenders, like true contenders. These guys could sneak their way into it if everything works out right. And these are more of we're building or we're slowly decaying from what we were. and that's an even further down version of it, and also, or they're just building a little bit more, and then true rebuilds pretty much. But anyways, yeah, if you stuck around this long, please like or dislike, subscribe. Let me know what you agree with or disagree with, and I'll see you in the next one. See ya.